Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has a kekkei mora. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by TheLongestLight and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Zetsu was not happy when Madara slumped over dead. He was even more not happy when Obito was unsuccessful at stealing away the Kyuubi. Zetsu was an angry, spiteful creature, but one thing got his attention and brought a smile to his face. Somehow, he felt Mother. He could sense her chakra. Very faintly, but he could sense it. In the middle of a speech by Pain, Zetsu disappeared, not reappearing again to anyone for some time. The white and black head of the creature appeared in a dilapidated apartment, a boy with blonde and white flecks sleeping in a small bed. Zetsu smiled for the first time in hundreds of years. He felt Mother's chakra mixing with his own. Not much, but it was there. As Naruto dreamed, Zetsu disappeared, its whole plan having been changed. Kagaya's meadow. Naruto had his head in the lap of Kagaya. He could only ever see her when he slept, but he loved the time they spent together. Naruto called her mother and Kagaya called him son. Naruto was not liked. He had no friends and no family. His mother was supposedly a woman from Kiri, and his father was a no-name Chunin from Konoha. Close to the end of the Third Ninja War, his mother was executed as a traitor, and his father had been forced to take Naruto back to Konoha. Naruto's father had been charged with consorting with the enemy. He was executed and Naruto was placed in an orphanage. It did not take long before everyone began to question the small child with pure white hair. He shared similar features with the Kagaya clan of Kiri, with the eyes of his father. It wasn't long before people began to make the connection and hated the traitor's child. At the age of 7, Naruto had been kicked out of the orphanage. The Hokage, a nice woman named Kushina, gave Naruto an apartment and a small stipend, but nothing else. "Mother, why are people so mean to me?" he asks in a small voice. His voice quivering. He hated his apartment and he hated everything about his life, save for Kagaya. "I don't know, Naruto. You are a wonderful boy and will grow up to be an amazing man. You have so much potential in your blood," she promised, laying a small kiss on his forehead. She smiled at Naruto. He was much more her son than those two traitors that had imprisoned her. "But one day we can be together in the real world. I promise." Naruto looks up at her. "Tell me the story again," he said happily. This was his favorite story. It was about how one day Naruto and Kagaya could be together and he could see his mother whenever he wanted. "One day, you will get very strong. When you do, you will be able to cast a genjutsu on the moon, bringing true peace to the world and freeing my body from its prison. Naruto, you will be the one to cast Mugen Tsukiyomi upon the world and save them from themselves." Naruto looked up at her with amazement, happy that he would be able to see his mother someday. "Now go, my son." She waved his hand and woke him up, his body falling out of Kagaya's meadow-like world. Hanahagakure no Sato 10:30 am. Naruto woke with a start as he looked at the alarm clock. It was already fairly late in the midday, but he felt well rested and happy to begin his day. He always felt better after talking with Kagaya. His body always felt stronger and his chakra always felt more powerful. He stopped for a moment. Something or someone was in his apartment. "Come out. Tell me who you are," he demanded. His voice was very high-pitched as he was only 10 years old, but his chakra unconsciously flared, causing the 10-year-old to look slightly more intimidating. A strange Venus flytrap-looking creature came out of the floor. "Kagaya. You've returned." Its voice was almost reverent as it gazed upon Naruto. Hearing the name of his surrogate mother, Naruto instantly stiffened. "Tell me how you know that name," Naruto demanded. It was strange that the creature didn't scare him, but he felt no ill will coming from it towards him. Zetsu happily told him everything. He told Naruto about how Kagaya had been sealed away and how she had created Zetsu to enact her will. He told Naruto of Indra and Ashura and Hagoromo and everything in between. He told Naruto of how the transmigrants of Indra and Ashura were in the village with Naruto. For a long time after, Naruto was silent, digesting everything he knew about his mother and trying to reconcile it with what Zetsu had said. "I dream about her. She tells me the most wonderful things. Is it true that if I enact the Mugen Tsukiyomi, then I can see her? Really see her?" Naruto asks, almost afraid of the answer. If not, then Naruto will never see his mother and will never have a real family. "Yes. With the Mugen Tsukiyomi, Kagaya will be revived and the world will be at peace," the creature said, feeling traces of its mother's chakra flowing inside the young boy. "We already have an operative working on it, but he is nothing. He is simply a puppet. You are the true inheritor of Kagaya's will." Zetsu kneeled before him. Naruto gaped for a moment but quickly recovered. "How can I get powerful enough to seal the Bijk? You told me that very few people in the world could do that and all but one of those bloodlines is extinct. The introduction of Kagaya's chakra into Naruto's body had caused his mind to mature to that of someone in their teens in regards to logic and reasoning. Zetsu produced a small vial. Inside were two eyes. The vial was dusty, but the eyes appeared to be intact. These are the eyes of Indral Tsutsuki, the son of the Rikiden Sennin. We give them willingly to you as a sign of our devotion to Mother's goal of bringing peace to the world. Naruto looked at the eyes for a moment, unsure of what makes them so special. He drew two and two together fairly quickly. Zetsu had told him that Indra was the progenitor of the Uchiha clan. Are these the first pair of Sharingan? Naruto asked, gazing at the two eyes in the vial. Sasuke Uchiha was the best student at the academy. He hadn't been allowed to go by the Hokage, but he liked to watch the training sessions. He knew about the Sharingan very vaguely, as they were the eyes the police of Konoha had. Zetsu nodded in confirmation. Naruto looked around his apartment for a moment and then back at Zetsu. Take me from this place, Zetsu. I will bring peace to this world and I will bring Mother back. Taking one final look at his apartment, Naruto grabbed Zetsu's shoulder. The two of them sank into the ground, reappearing in a mountainous place filled with monstrous bones. It was a long time before anyone noticed that the trader's son was missing. However, no one seemed to care. Mountain's graveyard 3 months later. Naruto gazed upon the withered husk of another white Zetsu that he had crushed. A singular Tomo flickered in his eye. It had taken 2 months for Naruto to awaken the Sharingan in his eyes. After that, Zetsu had begun to train him excessively. 16-hour training sessions every day, stopping only to eat, sleep, and use the restroom. 1 day a week was used for theoretical work. Politics, manipulation, seduction, and other important skills were imparted onto the young boy. He looked 13 now, even though he was only 10. His chakra had become even more oppressive and dark as it grew more and more like Kagaya's. It was almost corrosive in nature. Naruto frowned, his single Tomo eyes staring back at him. Evolve, damn it. He yelled, putting a shard of bone through the mirror. Zetsu had assured him his progress would be swift, but it had been a month and there was no change in the ninjutsu. He had begun to develop the Shikatsu-myaku. Even Zetsu had been surprised about that development. Looking into the records, it was shown he was distantly related to a Shikatsu-myaku user from the Kagaya clan, but the rest of his mother's bloodline had never shown any proficiency in the kekkei genkai. Naruto had begun to work on his dances as well as his nature manipulation. Zetsu had discovered he possessed earth and fire, but he assured Naruto that when he unlocked the Rinnegan all chakra natures would be available for him to control. There was also a good amount of time spent going over different experiments that Naruto wanted Zetsu to perform. The chief among these was the creation of an artificial human who could utilize Mokuton. Naruto would need it to create the Shinju, but he could not do it himself, much to his chagrin. Mountain's graveyard 7 months later. Zetsu, I was exploring the Otsutsuki clan ruins not too far from here, and I discovered this. Naruto threw down a girl that appeared to be around 15 or 16. She wasn't too much trouble to apprehend, but she has been snooping around here for around 2 days. She says her name is Anko Midarashi and she works for Orochimaru. Naruto said, gazing down at the girl. Zetsu's black half split from the white one, latching itself onto Anko. She struggled for a moment before she went limp. In Anko's voice, Zetsu began to speak. Orochimaru sent her here to attempt to steal away any of the old clan artifacts. She joined his new village in the land of rice. Zetsu said as he forcibly read her memories. We have just the thing for her. Zetsu unlatched itself from the girl who took a deep breath as if she was just rudely woken up. Please. I'm sorry. Please just let me go. She said, fully aware she may die very soon. Orochimaru had promised that she would have enough power to destroy anything that may be hidden in the old Otsutsuki clan ruins, but this boy in front of her defeated her even after she embraced its corrupting call. Zetsu's smirk did nothing to alleviate her worries. We will let you go, but first we will need something from you. A large fly trap grew around her almost immediately after it had spoken. Strange tendrils of black chakra forced themselves into her ears, nose, and eyes. They began to infect her brain with a special jutsu Zetsu had developed, meant to make sleeper agents when white Zetsu's clone abilities wouldn't do. It took about 2 minutes for the technique to be complete. Once it was finished, Anko was devoted to Zetsu and Naruto. She would be more than willing to spy on Orochimaru and report back to her new masters. Zetsu-sama. Naruto-sama. She said before jumping away, already having been given an alibi by Zetsu. A bandit lord had been living in the caves and Anko had to take care of him. That is what took her so long. Well, I suppose it is better than just killing her. Naruto mused, going back to his training. His Shikatsu-myaku was becoming quite formidable and he felt as though his Sharingan was close to evolving. Mountain's graveyard. Naruto's birthday. It had been a little more than a year since Naruto had left. He was turning 11 today and Zetsu told him he had a surprise for the young boy. Zetsu appeared in front of Naruto holding a small box. "Here is your gift," the white half said with glee. Taking the box, Naruto opened it. Inside was a puppy. Gingerly, Naruto picked it up. It gave his hand a small lick as Naruto petted. "Ninja dogs are very useful to have. Happy birthday," the black half said a little sullenly. It had been almost a year since Naruto had spoken to Kagaya, and both he and Zetsu missed their mother dearly. "I'll name him Indra," Naruto decided finally, putting the dog onto the floor. He quite liked having company other than Zetsu around for a change. For the first time in more than a year, Naruto smiled a true smile. Chapter 2. Mountain's Graveyard 6 months after birthday. Naruto rushed headlong into a mass of Zetsu, all around high Chunin to low Jonin level. Bone sprouted out of many of them as Naruto used his dance of Tsurutahiko. Naruto had developed this specific dance while training against a cage-level Zetsu. The bones would act almost as conduits, draining his opponent's chakra to replenish his own reserves. He still got his ass kicked by the single cage-level construct, however. Most of the Zetsu who got hit with the projectiles seemed to have all their life sucked out of them, becoming useless husks that fell to the floor. Some were able to remove the bones before they got stuck, while the rest were able to dodge. Activating his Sharingan, Naruto flipped through hand signs. Kaiten. Kamakyaku. A wall of fire burst from Naruto's mouth, taking out some of the Zetsu that his bones had weakened from his previous attack. Sensing a break in the approaching army, Naruto placed his palms to the floor and intoned Doten. Ritsudo Tenshima. The tremor shook the cavern as the floor beneath the Zetsu was turned into rolling waves of earth. Sensing an opportunity, Naruto shot out his Teshi Senden, sending bullets of bone into heads of some of the Zetsu, killing them instantly. There were about 50 left, and Naruto was running low on chakra. He sighed and nodded towards Black Zetsu. "I want you to up my training to 18 hours a day. I am going to go train with Indra." Naruto turned and walked away, leaving Zetsu shaking his head. "You were supposed to be further along by now. How much longer until you unlock the third Tomo?" Zetsu asked himself in disappointment. Naruto was a great ninja, yes. However, he was nowhere near where he needed to be. Zetsu cursed himself for not getting his hands on the boy sooner. At least one thing is going well. Project 001B is performing admirably. Perhaps she will be ready ahead of schedule. With that thought, Zetsu melted away to parts unknown. On Hagakure no Sato same time. Rin Uzumaki loved her life. Her mother was the Hokage, and the village treated her like a princess. Her chakra was just as powerful as her mother's, and she was learning to begin to mold it into the infamous Konfusa. She had some really great friends in her class. Hinata Haika was her best friend, and the two would play and train together all the time. Sasuke Uchiha even treated her with some modicum of respect, which was a feat in and of itself. Yes, Rin Uzumaki loved her life, and she hoped it would stay that way forever. Omegakure no Sato same time. The Gado sat upon a throne of his own creation, his Rinnegan eyes shining in the darkness of his stronghold. Before him stood his Akatsuki. 9 in total, counting himself and Konan, of the world's most powerful and dangerous shinobi. I have called you all here today to inform you that our plans are to move forward, as well as introduce our 10th and final member. Itachi Uchiha killed his entire clan, save his brother. Konoha has lost a major military asset, and we have gained someone with intimate knowledge of the kekkei and its vessel. The other shinobi turned to gaze upon the young man with something akin to awe. The teams are as follows. Kakuzu is with Haiden. They are in charge of bounty hunting and the money that runs our organization. Itachi and Tobi are in charge of keeping tabs on the kekkei. Sasori and Kisame are in charge of keeping tabs on Yagura and the Bloodline War. Konan and I will stay here and continue to safeguard AIM. Our final team is Zetsu and Tsunade, who are in charge of our medical research and experimentation. Nagato nodded to his new teams and dismissed them. On Hagakure no Sato a month later. The loss of the Uchiha clan hit Konoha hard. The entire police force had been taken out, and the seedy parts of the village had erupted into essentially full gang warfare. The failed theft of the kekkei still had the village recovering, and most shinobi were out on missions. Civilians were caught in the crossfire, and many had lost their lives. The Fire Lord had told Kushina to keep her village in line, or he would find someone who would. Kushina rubbed the sleep from her eyes as she read another mission report. One of the genin had their artery severed by a knife and had died. Kushina frowned and stood up from her desk. "Get me Dansm." She yelled to the air around her, knowing the Anbu would hear her and obey. Omegakure no Sato same time. Tsunade Senju clutched her grandfather's necklace as she heard the strange human speak. He had introduced himself as Zetsu. He had the most incredible healing factor that Tsunade had ever seen, and his knowledge of medicine and the human body rivaled her own. "Now just hold still, Tsunade," his strange voice said as the creature withdrew some more of her blood. They were trying to synthesize an artificial human who was able to use her grandfather's ability to its full potential, not Orochimaru's weakened version of it. "I don't understand the point of this." Isn't our leader supposed to be all-powerful? She asked in a mocking way, not enjoying being poked and prodded like some common animal. He is. But this is easier. When we capture Bijk, we will have to both subdue the beast as well as fight the village protecting it. It is good to have multiple ways to subdue it. Especially the more powerful beasts. Now hold still. We are almost done. A strange mass of fleshy material was connected directly to the device used to withdraw the blood. Suddenly, it turned to wood. God damn it. Zetsu cursed, immediately cutting off the blood flow from Tsunade's arm to the machine. I guess that concludes today's testing. Rest up. Tomorrow we will continue. In the meantime, Leader Sama wants you to report to him. Something about your old teammate, Jiraiya. With that, Zetsu sank into the floor, leaving Tsunade wondering just what their leader wanted with her old, lecherous teammate. Mountain's graveyard 3 hours later. Naruto sat panting, his dog panting alongside him. They had become the best of friends in 6 months' time, and Naruto was very proud of how his training was going. He still had not unlocked the third Tomo of the Sharingan, and he was growing angry. He could not, for the life of him, figure out what he was doing wrong. He was training with the Sharingan constantly active, trying to force it to evolve. Nothing he had done would work. For a moment he thought he would never get to see his mother again. That thought alone nearly broke him. He wanted a true family. Petting Indra, he got up and went to go fetch some water for them both. As he was drinking from the nearby stream, the water rippled and Zetsu appeared in the middle of the river. Naruto. We need to speak with you. It is important. Meet us in the shrine room after you are done. With that, the creature sank back into the bed of the stream, leaving Naruto alone. After having given Indra some water, Naruto ventured into the shrine room, finding Zetsu standing in the middle of it. We are tired of waiting for you to progress. I did not know Mother's Chosen would be so pathetic. Black Zetsu spat. You will fight and defeat this Zetsu, or it will kill you. As Zetsu appeared behind Naruto at speeds faster than his Sharingan could detect and delivered a massive blow to Naruto's Shikatsumaku enhanced spine. Naruto was propelled across the room, crashing into one of the walls of the cavern. He could clearly sense that this single Zetsu was at or above cage level. Without letting up, the Zetsu rushed towards Naruto, laying a flurry of punches against the boy. In response to this, Naruto coughed up blood and tried to roll out of the way, his Sharingan blazing in all its glory, but still only 2 Tomo. Damn you, Zetsu! Naruto screamed in anger and pain as he forced himself to get up. Dance of Tsurutahiko. Naruto yelled, chakra-draining spines erupting from underneath the Zetsu at speeds quicker than before. Naruto began to push his body to the max, his bones growing harder and draining the chakra faster. Come here. He yelled as he ran towards the Zetsu. Shikatsumaku. Kai. A technique Naruto had been developing for a while, Shikatsumaku. Kai used in conjunction with the dance of Tsurutahiko, created a cage of chakra-draining bones around his opponent. Taking a breather, thinking he had beaten Zetsu, Naruto groaned when cracks in his cage began to appear. Fuck. Zetsu burst through the cage and immediately set upon Naruto, the creature's fists coated in rock. Naruto crumpled to the ground, his eyes gazing up at the Zetsu, still only 2 Tomo. Evolve, damn you. Naruto yelled as he forced himself up, only to be met with a high-powered water jutsu, knocking him back down again. I will kill you. Naruto screamed as black chakra burst out of his body. Naruto jumped up, trying to land an axe kick on Zetsu's head, the creature barely dodging his attack. I will show you that you are nothing. Shikatsumaku. Shinju. Naruto yelled, his palm slamming on the ground. A massive tree made of bone sprouted around the offending Zetsu. The massive tree's branches began to pierce the creature again and again. Black chakra leaked off the pure white bone as it seemed to turn the air around it evil. The Zetsu was defeated within an instant, but the tree did not stop. Zetsu. Where are you? I am going to kill you. Zetsu smirked, seeing Naruto's eyes had a 3 Tomo Sharingan in them. Realizing the danger, Black Zetsu disappeared, intent on letting Naruto tire himself out. Fully giving in to the dark power, Naruto directed the tree to search for Zetsu. The branches and roots began to search the entire compound. After a minute, they began to retreat, one holding the black creature. Naruto, calm down. You need to relax. If you can't, you will destroy this whole compound. You will destroy everything we have worked for. The black chakra began to recede and the bone tree began to break apart. Naruto fell to the ground, completely passed out from chakra exhaustion. Finally. We are back on track. Zetsu picked up the unconscious body of Naruto, beginning to heal his wounds with the essence of white Zetsu. Hanahagakure no Sato 3 years later. The Chunin exams had come to Konoha and Rin Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha were the up-and-coming team. They had defeated Zabuza and his apprentice Haku, both powerful ninjas in their own right. Sasuke had awakened his Sharingan during the mission. This was the first Chunin exams in the Leaf Village since an armed militia of civilians attempted to assassinate the Hokage and led to a very brief civil war, one which Konoha's reputation was still recovering from. Being unable to keep their own citizens in line did not look good on the world stage. After the Uchiha clan massacre, Danzum's Root Division became the new force policing the streets, leading all dissent to be violently quashed, and the Hokage had assumed total control over all shinobi affairs, disbanding both the shinobi and civilian councils. The village was the safest it had been in a long time, but something told the young genin that it would not stay that way for long. The three walked into the first exam room where they were met with a busty girl who had pineapple-shaped hair. She popped a piece of chewing gum, looking at the newcomers. "You guys are almost late. Name's Anko Midarashi," she said coolly, sending Sasuke a wink, making him blush a bit. Naturally, Sakura took offense to this and began to berate Anko for her mesh bodysuit and trench coat, which did little to hide anything. Anko shrugged the pink-haired girl off, suppressing the bloodlust of the cursed seal as much as she could. Anko looked at Rin. "You must be Rin Uzumaki. Daughter of the tyrant. We have stories about your dear old mom in Kusa. We hear she killed a shit ton of civilians. If that is true, can I get her autograph?" Anko smirked. It was her job to get under Rin's skin. Make her sloppy. "I can't wait for Orochimaru-sama to put this whole team in their place." Rin just grew red in the face, trying to force down the rising anger. "Use it in the exam, Rin. No use in making the team look bad because this bitch is trying to get a rise out of you." Yet even as she thought this, she shot Anko a murderous glare. "If I see her, I will ask her," Rin replied sweetly. Anko just laughed. She and the rest of her team, 2 other Kusa Kunoichis, took their seats as the proctor walked in and explained the test. After all the questions had been asked, the first part of the Chunin exams had begun. The Megakure no Sato same time as Chunin exams. Tsunade Senju worked tirelessly over the table where her experiment lay. This was all Jiraiya's fault. All of this. How could she have not seen it before? Always pushing them to go on missions, always playing stupid but guiding her along on how to act and think. I am glad Leader Sama helped me see the truth. I am so thankful for Leader Sama. That mantra played in her head every day as she began to devote all her time and resources to whatever Zetsu told her to do. Right now, she was saving the life of a teenage boy with white hair. She didn't ask questions. The Rinnegan had placed her under such a powerful genjutsu that there was almost no hope of escape. The boy was bleeding terribly and it appeared that many of his organs were ruptured. "I have done all I can, Zetsu-sama," Tsunade said as she finished one final healing technique. "We will know by morning if he can be saved." Zetsu nodded and told Tsunade to forget about the boy and both Zetsu and the boy sunk into the ground. "Damn it, Naruto. Why did you have to try to use that after I told you not to? You know the Susanoo is off limits until you have your eyes trained better." Cursing the boy, Zetsu laid him upon the table, intent on watching him until Naruto recovered or died. Chapter 3. Mountain's Graveyard 9 months before Chunin exams. Naruto weighed the Kusurigama in his hands, giving it a few experimental throws. "I like it. I'm assuming the metal conducts chakra?" Naruto asked, answering his own question by pushing his energy through it. The sickle gained a black glow before becoming inert as Naruto stopped the flow of chakra. "You have outdone yourselves this time, Zetsu," Naruto said as he fooled around with his new weapon for a while, giving his best friend in the world a pat on the head. Indra the dog had become a constant friend and companion to Naruto as Zetsu was away on business. "Come on boy, let's go train." The large white and black dog lumbered after him, his tail wagging happily. Naruto had never developed his fighting style to work around his friend. Indra did his own thing when it came to engaging the enemy, and Naruto did his own. Indra had the good sense to know when bones were coming in his general area and to dodge, and Naruto made sure never to seriously injure his best friend. Zetsu frowned inwardly watching the two of them leave. "There is nothing that can be done. There is only one course of action to achieve what we need to. I just hope Naruto does not reach out and activate that Shinjutsu of his. It was so much like some of Mother's techniques." Zetsu suppressed a shiver, sinking away. Outside, in a rare display of childishness, the 14-year Naruto was playing fetch with his dog. Zetsu didn't like him to take time off too often, but Naruto had to retain his emotions, or his goal of enacting the Mugen Tsukiyomi would shift. Zetsu shook his head, watching the two play. Deciding that everything was under control there, Zetsu sank into the ground, bound for a Megakure. The Megakure no Sato 10 minutes later. "It will have to be Tsunade or Sasori. The rest are far too important for us to lose from active duty." Nagato spoke to Konan, Tobi, and Zetsu. "If what you have brought to me is true, then a Sharingan user who also wields Shikatsunyaku will be invaluable. Zetsu, I want you to keep an eye on him and report on your development." Zetsu nodded, knowing that he would have to explain some things to Tobi. After all, Tobi was still under the control of Madara. Madara's dream was at an end. The true heir of the Mugen Tsukiyomi had appeared. It was a calculated risk that Zetsu had undertaken. He revealed the existence of Naruto to the leadership of the Akatsuki. There were of course some falsehoods and deceptions made to mask his true goals and how much involvement Zetsu had. Of course, Leader Sama. It is my understanding that he is the bastard child of an Uchiha and a Kagaya. He would happily latch onto any sense of community. His parents were not shinobi as far as I can tell. They appear to have been killed by bandits a long time ago. Zetsu spoke, revealing just enough to please Nagato. The false leader of the Akatsuki nodded, looking around. That is all. The time to collect the bidge grows closer and I am hopeful that you are all here with me to see our goal achieved. Peace will be achieved within the elemental nations. Nagato spoke with conviction. Knowing he was dismissed, Zetsu sank into the ground and appeared in a secure meeting room, knowing Obito would be there soon after. As if on cue, a vortex appeared in thin air and out stepped the masked man. Zetsu? What did you do? Obito demanded, glaring his single visible Sharingan eye at the artificial man. We saw potential in the boy. Somehow his Shikatsunyaku genes have incorporated his Sharingan and given him the ability to deactivate it. We were quite amazed. As for exactly why we did it, that is none of your business. You have your part in achieving Madara's dream and we have our own. Do not forget that. Black Zetsu seemed more heated than usual. He did not like being questioned, least of all by Obito. Don't give me that bullshit. What is the point of the boy? Obito demanded once again, not wanting to be brushed off by Zetsu. Having had enough, Zetsu turned to the man, meeting his glare. In case you failed, Obito. Do not forget that Kakashi Haddock still has the ability to cancel out your Kamui. This boy has no such limitations. His Manjikame's abilities are unknown and could be more powerful than anything we have seen. He has Indra's eyes. His chakra overpowered all the other pairs of eyes, rendering them unable to use the Sharingan. This boy is dangerous. More dangerous than Madara was at his age. He has potential. Zetsu said. He was under no illusions that a battle between Obito and Naruto would leave his plans in ruins, so he figured he would throw Obito a bone, telling him about Indra's eyes. Obito looked interested. Truly? Indra's eyes? Well, that changes things. Once he is strong, I will wish to fight the boy. Zetsu simply nodded, knowing that if Obito looked too deeply into what was happening at Mountain's graveyard, he would get suspicious. Deciding that nothing more had to be said, Obito waved his arm over himself, disappearing into thin air. Zetsu began to sink into the floor, intent on making it back to Mountain's graveyard, intent on seeing how Naruto was doing. Mountain's graveyard during the Obito and Zetsu's conversation. Naruto and his dog both came to a halt at the same time as their expertly honed senses sensed the movement of some rather powerful chakra signatures. Stay on your guard, boy. Naruto as 5 shinobi walked into the clearing. Each were wearing a headband with a music note on it and Naruto vaguely recognized one of them. Anko Mitarashi and a merry band of misfits. I would say I am surprised. Orochimaru took his time. Naruto commented out loud, inwardly cursing that Orochimaru had broken Zetsu's technique. The white-haired boy who shared similar features to Naruto moved next to Anko. Is this truly him? He looks like nothing more than trash. The boy said, shooting a disgusted glare at Naruto. On the authority of Itagakure, Orochimaru-sama demands your death. You have been charged with planting a spy in his ranks and subverting his will. You have already been found guilty. A redeeted woman said. I am Teiya of the Sound 5. We are your executioners. Anko nodded to her before looking back towards Naruto. I am Anko Mitarashi of the Sound 5. I will enjoy bathing in your gore. Her grin was manic as a curse seal spread over her body. The white-haired boy stepped forward next. I am Kamimuro of the Sound 5. You have disgraced both Orochimaru-sama and my clan. For that, you will be killed and forgotten, like the trash you are. A blue-haired girl stepped forward next. I am Guren of the Sound 5. Orochimaru-sama has ordered your death and we are honor-bound to obey his will. She seemed reluctant, but it seemed she was willing to fight to the death if forced to. The final member of the Sound 5 stepped forward. My name is Kabuto and I am the leader of the Sound 5. You will become my new test subject. He seemed very excited at the prospect. Naruto chuckled as his enemies introduced themselves one by one. I am honored that Orochimaru sent not only one of his finest ninja here, but all 5. It is a shame that I will have to slaughter you all. In a second, his eyes seemed to spin as they turned blood red and 3 Tomo appeared in them. In a moment, he was upon Kamimuro. If the boy had Shikatsunyaku, then he would probably be the worst to deal with. 2 swords made of bone appeared in Naruto's hands, clashing against Kamimuro's hardened skeleton. There was no give on either side. Naruto quickly abandoned his attack once 2 massive blocks of crystal appeared on either side of him. They quickly slammed together just as Naruto leapt off the ground to prevent his demise. Anko and Kabuto were upon him. Snakes appeared out of Anko's sleeves as Kabuto set upon him with gleaming chakra scalpels, both intent on claiming first blood against him. His Sharingan tracked their movements, allowing him to dodge and weave out of their way even while they were in the air. "Now Indra." Naruto yelled as his dog burst from the ground, taking a large chunk out of Taia's arm, her crimson blood staining his fur red. The girl had been unprepared for the massive hound to burst from the ground, and it immediately began to maul her. Its jaws tore away at her flesh, ripping a chunk out of her legs, before Indra was forced to jump away as Kamimuro and Gurren came to save their comrade. Touching the wounds, Gurren crystallized them. "That will stop the bleeding. Let Kamimuro and I take care of the mutt," Gurren ordered as she turned her attention back to Indra, who was weaving around her comrade's Teshi Senden. Gurren leapt into the air, crystalline shurikens erupting from her body. "Shimton. Shuriken Ranbu," she yelled as the hail of weapons struck true, cuts forming on the dog's body. Indra would not give up. Using a moment of distraction, he dashed to the side, intent on protecting Naruto from Anko and Kabuto. Indra's teeth sank into the flesh of Kabuto's thigh just as Anko looked down. "Indra. Don't." Naruto yelled. Faster than the dog could react, two highly venomous snakes launched themselves at the dog. In less than a minute, Naruto's faithful companion and best friend was dead. Something in Naruto snapped. The battlefield was quiet as Naruto stared at the corpse of his beloved companion. His eyes snapped back up, but replacing the three Tomo was a strange swirl pattern. The silence lasted only a moment longer. In an instant, black chakra erupted from Naruto, his manjikam spinning wildly. "You are all going to die." His voice gained was dripping with pure rage and insanity as he looked around at the five shinobi who dared to hurt his best friend. His eyes centered on Gurren, Kamimuro, and Taia. "Shikatsumiyaku. Kai," he intoned. A massive cage that looked gnarled and thorny appeared around Anko and Kabuto, the bone spikes beginning to elongate, forcing them closer to the center of the cage. Naruto's voice spoke one word. "Yomi." Black energy spread through the air, jagged quick. The darkness touched a still incapacitated Taia, and she began to scream as it touched her. It looked as if acid had been poured on her. Her flesh began to liquefy. Her screams of agony rang loud across the clearing as her skull became visible. Her brain pooled out of her ears as she fell silent for the final time. Gurren tried to raise a wall of crystal to stop it, and the strange chakra seemed to stop moving for a moment. The wall began to crumble as the rest of the team could see Naruto's attack grow in size, absorbing the chakra from the defensive wall. The now much larger orb of Naruto's attack engulfed Gurren, not even giving her time to scream. It sucked out her chakra, leaving nothing in its path. Not even bones. The mass of darkness grew larger and larger with each source of chakra it consumed. Kamimuro attempted to run, but corrosive tendrils burst out from it, piercing his flesh, corroding away the bone armor the Kagaya boy kept below his skin. Kamimuro, one of Orochimaru's best, was eaten alive from the inside. It was like a disease. He grew pale as his flesh began to fall off in chunks, revealing cracked and broken bone armor under the skin. A cry of agony escaped the young boy's lips as he collapsed to the ground. Within a minute, Kamimuro was simply a puddle. The chakra from Naruto's Yomi floated in the air before enveloping Naruto. The bowl grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared altogether. An aura of chakra surrounded the crazed boy, having absorbed the chakra taken from his now dead and gone opponents. He turned towards the two waiting in the bone cage, his left eye bleeding heavily. Bone spikes drove themselves through Kabuto, piercing his heart, his brain, his kidneys, and his lungs at the same time. The cage dissolved, leaving a terrified Anko. "Go. Go back to your master, you miserable bitch. Tell him he has just declared war." His manjikam spun angrily as she turned from the clearing and fled, hoping to get far enough away before he could change his mind. When Zetsu returned to the clearing, he saw blood and gore, and most of all, Naruto cradling the corpse of his best friend, sobbing uncontrollably. On Hagakure 2 months before Chunin exams. Rin Uzumaki breathed heavily as she kneeled on the ground. In front of her was her mom's friend and mentor Dansme. In an effort to keep her daughter safe and help protect the village, Kushina re-established the root division to protect not only the village, but also Konoha's VIPs. Rin's mother had specifically asked Dansme to train her daughter in case anyone tried to strike at the Hokage through Rin. After regular Team 7 operations with their sensei, Kakashi Haddock, Rin would go to a hidden compound in the woods bordering Konoha and meet with Root. She liked the old man, for what it was worth. He was a slave driver when it came to training, but her konfuksa were getting stronger and her wind jutsu was growing more powerful as she learned better chakra control. There were also times she couldn't really remember, but she supposed she had just passed out. Though, she never understood why her skin hurt so badly after training. It was like it had been badly burned and healed very quickly. "Stand, Rin." Dansme ordered. Taking a moment to finish catching her breath, she stood. "There are forces that seek to undermine your mother's power and hurt you. Do you wish to become the best ninja possible? Her mentor asked her. Rin simply nodded. Taking this as a sign to continue, Dansm had 2 seats brought in. He sat down and gestured for Rin to do the same. What do you know about the circumstances of your birth and the death of your father? Rin was silent for a moment. Nothing much. Mom told me he died a hero, saving the village from a deadly threat. Dansm nodded. He was and still is one of the finest shinobi to ever come out of Konoha or any of the hidden villages. When you were born, your mother was the container of a powerful being. She was the Jinchuriki of the kekkei, and her seal was weakened when she was giving birth. A man who identified himself as the long-dead Madara Uchiha attempted to extract the beast from your mother's seal and was partially successful. He was driven away by your father, but not before almost assuring that the kekkei would be released into the village. Dansm paused to let this all sink in. Your father was badly injured, but decided the only way to save the village was to seal the kekkei in a new vessel. You. Looking Rin straight in the eyes, he continued. You are the new Jinchuriki of the kekkei. You have the makings of being a shinobi stronger than your mother or your father. Together, I can help you control this power within and teach you how to turn it into a force against the enemies of Konoha. He looked at Rin's eyes. He expected to see confusion, fear, or even possibly hatred. What he saw was resolve. Yes. I want to learn. If this will help me protect my mother, my friends, and my village, then I will do whatever it takes. Dansm smiled inwardly. His plan was coming together even better than he had hoped. Now it was time to turn her into his weapon. Mountain's graveyard 2 weeks before Chunin exams. Naruto tore through as many Zetsu as he could. They were all in their cage level. Naruto was undeterred, however. His hands flashed through hand seals, a massive wall of fire spewing from his mouth. 2 clones of his did the same from the other sides, forcing all the Zetsu into the center of the room. As the Zetsu all congregated, having been herded by the Kaiten. Kunkamakyaku, spikes of bone rose through the floor, impaling the Zetsu through their feet. Dance of Shinigami. He intoned, seemingly bored. On cue, the impaled feet began to ossify. The conversion to bone was fast. Naruto did this by passing on a parasitic form of his Shikatsu into the chakra system of a person, causing their bones to grow out of control, eventually turning the target into a bone statue. Most of the Jinin level Zetsu were now nothing more than statues. The cage-leveled ones still remained as Naruto's eyes turned into spirals. Susanoo. The effect was instantaneous as a ribcage appeared around Naruto, the chakra a pure white color. A massive skeletal arm swung itself at the remaining Zetsu, forcing them to jump out of the way, but another one intercepted a few of them, crushing their bodies mid-flight. These Zetsu were not true cage shinobi, as they did not have the experience or thought processes to reach the title. They were simply cage in terms of speed, strength, and chakra usage. The floor beneath Naruto began to turn to mud as one of the Zetsu prepared a counter-attack. Willing his body to jump up before he got stuck, another fired a high-powered wind jutsu at him, causing one of the bones of his Susanoo to break and a cut to appear in his chest. The ribcage and arms flickered for a moment and disappeared, leaving Naruto in intense pain. Fuck, he cursed. I thought I could hold that longer. As he looked up, a massive wind ball impacted him, causing lacerations all across his body. Black Zetsu appeared in the room a moment later, having to take him to Tsunade again. It was growing tedious to keep having to erase the woman's mind. Zetsu scooped up the unconscious and bleeding boy and sank into the ground. Unknown location same time. The figure with a single Sharingan gazed into the glass tank. Inside was a teenage girl, perhaps no older than 17. There were no obvious signs of life, save for a heartbeat on a monitor. The man pressed his hand against the glass and then abruptly turned away. Project 001F is coming along nicely. No obvious failures yet. More testing needs to be done. He said into a small voice recorder. Taking one last look at the girl, the man disappeared into thin air, leaving the beeping of different machines and monitors to be the only signs of life in the room. Chapter 4. Mountain's graveyard 3 hours before Chunin exams. Naruto squinted a bit. Zetsu, the training of my Manjikam is starting to take its toll. My eyesight is getting worse. What is your plan for correcting this? Zetsu frowned. Your eyesight shouldn't be getting this bad unless you have been training your Manjikam ability without me knowing. To answer your question, I have a few ideas, but none of them are close to fruition. Indra's eyes are a special case, being the first pair of Sharingan in existence. I would need to extensively study and have a limitless supply of Manjikam in order to be able to synthesize something to slow or stop the blindness. I have neither the resources or time to do that, especially with this plan you have. Zetsu said, sending Naruto a hard look. When I declare war against someone, I will wage war. Naruto said simply, finishing sealing his rations and supplies into a series of sealing scrolls. I know where Atogakure is. I will destroy it, especially with your intel putting Orochimaru in Konoha. Zetsu frowned but nodded nonetheless. I know there is nothing I can do to dissuade you. However, you must be careful. If you destroy your eyesight before we are able to find a way to grant you the eternal magicum, then you will never see kekkei again. Zetsu reminded him. Naruto frowned at that. I know. I am fully aware. However, this cannot go unpunished. Someone must pay, and I have decided that the main compound will be a good place to start. I will not overuse my eyes. I also want to find some information on some of his weaker and more easily swayed henchmen. Some could be useful. His mind wandered to Anko for a moment. I will also need you to find out as much as you can about Anko Mitarashi. If we are able to truly sway her from Orochimaru's side, then we will gain some important insight into how his operations are run. Zetsu nodded. I will speak with Tsunade. Once your eyes have become eternal, you will be powerful enough to join the Akatsuki. Then, we can begin to bind and seal the Bijk. It is almost time, Naruto. It was strange to see Zetsu so excited about something. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. He finished drawing the last storage seal on his scroll and stored the last of his supplies. I am ready. I will send you a message when I have reached the compound. With that, Naruto flickered out of sight, his incredible speed making it seem as if he just disappeared. Hagakure no Sato first round of the Chunin exams. Rin Uzumaki and her teammate sat stumped as Ibiki explained the exam. A written exam? What kind of shit is this? And we don't get kicked out for cheating. She sat silent for a moment, remembering Danzum's teachings. Rin, what did Danzum-sama say? He would say deception is one of a ninja's greatest assets, second only to stealth. Both are essential in information gathering. We are supposed to cheat. She decided as she shot a glance over at Sasuke. He had come to a similar conclusion. Sakura was writing the answers verbatim from the textbooks. Rin smirked as she spied someone writing the right answers a level below her and to the left. She could sneakily write enough of a correct answer to get the points. She set about doing this. The other questions came and went, and finally Ibiki announced the 10th and final question. She sat silently, steeling her nerves for the trials to come. After Ibiki announced that they had all passed, a Chunin that identified himself as Ibisu walked in. All of you who remain will follow me out of here and to training ground 44. This next exam is a multi-day survival exercise. Each team will be given a scroll. A group with a heaven scroll can only pass with both a heaven and an earth scroll, and vice versa. If there are no questions, please follow me. He turned around and walked out. Looking around, she caught Sasuke's and Sakura's attention. We need to stay out of the way of that Suna team. That retreat is bad news. Sasuke snorted. I guess being a handful comes with being a retreat, Harin. He joked, elbowing his retreated teammate in the side. She just rolled her eyes and snorted. Come on. We wouldn't want to get left behind. With that, Team 7 began to run to catch up with a large group of ninja. I have a bad feeling about this exam. Shaking off that feeling, they arrived at the gates, intent on beginning the exam. Ibisu quickly went over the rules again and handed out the scrolls. The exam begins now. The second he said now, all the teams of hopeful genin sped into the forest, intent on being the first team to make it to the end. Hagakure Forest of Death. Team 7 vaulted through the trees at a breakneck pace, keeping watch around them for any sign of an opposing team. I want to find the Kusa team. Rin muttered to herself. She had a score she wanted to settle, after all. A second later, they were all thrown off of their feet as a massive gust of wind knocked them against the trunks of the surrounding trees. Instantly, all three were on guard. Out stepped the team from Kusagakure. There was the girl, Rin recognized. She had strange black markings covering half her body. Next to her was a man who looked to be around Kakashi's age, and finally, next to him was another woman, one who looked incredibly snake-like. The two teams stared at each other before the snake-like woman spoke. Hello there Sasuke-kun. I have been watching you for some time now, and you have something I desire. The woman turned to her two teammates. Tenzum, take the Rin Uzumaki just in case she can use her little friend. Anko, take Sakura. She shouldn't prove too challenging for you. The two nodded and began to race towards their assigned targets. The snake woman got closer to Sasuke, his body freezing up due to the sheer maliciousness of her aura. Don't worry Sasuke. Soon you'll have power. Power enough to kill your brother. She whispered as his hand twitched, sending a kunai into his leg, freeing himself from the paralysis. He jumped away from the approaching woman, making her give chase through the forest. Hagakure Forest of Death, Rin vs Tenzum. Rin forced herself to dodge as the ninja fell upon her, kunai in hand. She weaved around the strikes as best she could, recognizing the form. You are rude. She realized as she sprang backwards, having done the same defensive maneuvers hundreds of times during training with Danzum. Tenzum chuckled, stopping his attack. I was. A long time ago. You don't know anything about Danzum. He is going to turn you into his puppet. He probably already has. Almost faster than Rin could see, he made strange hand seals. Mokuton. Makisatsu Shibari no Jutsu. He exclaimed. His right arm immediately turned to wood, the tendrils wrapping around Rin's ankle as she tried to jump away. Rin landed hard on the ground as the wood began to creep up her body, forcing her arms to her sides as she was tied up with the singular jutsu. Don't think about using the kekkei's chakra. My Mokuton has the ability to suppress that vile beast's chakra. Rin gave him a small smirk before massive golden chains erupted from her back, forcing Tenzin to cancel his jutsu. Konfsa. Rin exclaimed as the chains whipped around her, attempting to strike at her opponent. Flashing through more hand cells, Tenzo slammed his hand against the ground. Mokuton. Makijmiki. Massive roots came out of the ground, protecting the shinobi from Rin's chains, at least for the moment. Feeling the ground rumble beneath her, she jumped up, a sharp root emerging right where she had been standing, intending to impale her. She landed some feet away, only to have to dodge again. It went on like this for a minute or so before she landed on a rock. She waited for a moment, trying to feel anything that was coming. Nothing. He must have root sensing for my chakra. Well, I know where he is, and he has no idea where I am. She flipped through some hand seals. Ton. Shinkrenpa. She took a deep breath and expelled many sharp blades of wind that began to race towards the wooden wall. Deep gashes appeared on the wall, quickly cutting straight through it, revealing a headless Tenzin who quickly turned to wood. Feeling a presence behind her, she turned around as she saw a smiling Tenzin before her world went dark. He used his Mokuton to create bindings that he placed on her. He touched the intercom on his neck. I have the girl. I hope you know what you are doing, Orochimaru-sama. Tenzin picked up Rin's unconscious body and leapt away, going to the predetermined meeting point. Hanahagakure Forest of Death, Anko vs Sakura. From the moment the fight had begun, Sakura realized she was out of her depth. How could she not be? Here was this woman who was older than her, more powerful than her, prettier than her. Sakura couldn't compare to this woman in any way. But, her friends were in trouble, and Sakura had to try. Sakura drew her kunai as the black flames marking Anko's body began to retract. I don't even need my cursed seal to deal with you, girlie. Anko licked her lips, a glazed look in her eye. For a moment, time stood still as the two women rushed forward to attack. Kunai met kunai as Sakura was forced to jump back, the superior ninja overpowering the genin. You remind me of me when I was a squirt. Then I met Orochimaru-sama. She cackled a bit, enjoying the look of fear running through Sakura's eyes. That's right. Your friend Sasuke is fighting one of the Sannin. Anko rushed forward, a hail of shuriken emerging from her sleeves. Once Anko got closer to Sakura, something else emerged from her sleeves. Sanejashu. Snakes emerged from Anko's sleeves, biting Sakura. Venom coursed through her veins as she fell to the ground unconscious. For a moment, Anko stopped and looked at Sakura. Something doesn't feel right. Her head began to hurt as images of her atrocities filtered through her mind. She knelt down and screamed as she felt Orochimaru's control over her being reasserted. No. No. She screamed one last time as her mind faded back into pleasant bliss, the glazed look returning to her eyes. A part of Anko that had been suppressed for a long time had just woken up and she was determined to get her body back. Shaking away the last of her headache, Anko jumped out of the clearing, rendezvousing with Tenzin a short time later. Hanahagakure Forest of Death, Sasuke vs Orochimaru. Sasuke was running, but he could feel the strange woman hot on his tail. Something was off about her, besides the obvious. He knew she was playing with him. He kept dodging relatively slow-moving jutsu fired by the woman. It was as if she was hurting him somewhere. Deciding he would rather die on his feet than be killed running away, he stopped. He flipped quickly through hand seals and held his fingers up to his lips. Kaiten. Bunkakek no jutsu. He blew fire through his fingers, a large fireball engulfing the surrounding area. The woman stood in its path, chuckling to herself. When Sasuke cancelled the technique, he saw the charred body of the woman. Finally. His excitement was short-lived as her mouth unhinged. Out emerged a completely unharmed version of the shinobi. TSK, TSK, TSK. Sorry. You are about 40 years too young to hold a candle to me. The woman reached up and pulled her face off. Underneath was a decidedly masculine face. My name is Orochimaru. I am here to offer you to join me, Sasuke. I can give you the power to kill Itachi. I can help you kill your brother. A manic tone entered the man's voice. Before Sasuke could say anything, Orochimaru's neck elongated. As the strange man's head sped toward Sasuke, the boy tried to dodge. He was, however, unsuccessful. The cage bunshin appeared behind him, forcing him to stay still. Think about it. You will see the power I can give you. Sasuke felt fangs sink into his neck and the world went black around him. Orochimaru dispelled the cage bunshin before jumping away. It was a long time before anyone found Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura was hospitalized for the remainder of the exams and Sasuke had his curse seal sealed by Kushina herself. They were both interrogated heavily as to what happened to Rin Uzumaki. All they could offer was the name of Orochimaru and the description of his partners. With the help of Dansum, Kushina identified them as Anko Mitarashi, Orochimaru's apprentice and one of Orochimaru's old experiments. Dansum can use Mokuton. Dansum told Kushina in a private conversation in the Hokage's office. Kushina's only response was to collapse and begin to sob. The talk occurred directly after Chunin exams. Naruto snuck through the canopy of the forest, finding the opening to a Togeker. Zetsu had told him exactly where he needed to go. This is where he would wait. Naruto wanted Orochimaru to see him destroy all he had created. It was a fitting punishment. As it so happens, Naruto wouldn't have to wait long. Zetsu had contacted Naruto about a day and a half after Naruto had left telling him Orochimaru was en route with a hostage. That hostage was Rin Uzumaki. The Jinchuriki of the kekkei being in the way made this much more difficult. Naruto couldn't kill her. That would set his plan back years, maybe even a decade. Around midnight the following night, Orochimaru and his entourage arrived, entering the compound, completely unaware of Naruto's presence. Deciding it was time to strike, he ducked out of his hiding place. He silently trailed them. No one was up at this hour. He heard Anko and the other man bid each other good night. He felt there was something off about her tone, but he just added it to another thing for Zetsu to look into. Finally, he reached Orochimaru's throne room, surprised to find Orochimaru talking to a projection with Rinnegan eyes. I already told you, Orochimaru. We will not turn over Itachi Uchiha for the girl. Holding the kekkei would be tedious until we collect all of the other Bijk. Good night. The projection faded away, causing Orochimaru to scream out in anger. Orochimaru looked at Rin who was still struggling against her bonds. Well, looks like I would use you to strike at Konoha, then. No matter. Even a civilian could tell Orochimaru was not in the happiest of moods. Naruto decided to make his presence known. Sorry, but I don't think you will be in the position to strike at anyone. He said, stepping into the throne room. The snake-like man cocked an eyebrow. Ah. Who are you? Answer quickly before I decide to kill you. I'm the reason your elite guard has been reduced to 2. I am Naruto. You tried to kill me. Naruto said matter-of-factly. His eyes morphed into the Mangekyou Sharingan. Perhaps I won't have to kill Itachi after all. I will enjoy ripping your eyes from your sockets. Orochimaru smirked at the boy in front of him. TSK. For shame, Orochimaru. Your jutsu is powerless against my eyes. Naruto sprung into action, his eyes tracking Orochimaru's hands perfectly. Just as Orochimaru was about to launch a high-powered wind technique at the boy, Naruto finished his hand signs. Kaiten. Nkamakyaku. The wall of fire simply absorbed a Futon technique and raced towards Orochimaru who dodged. Pitiful from one of the Sannin. I told you, all jutsu is useless before my eyes. His eyes spun hypnotically as Orochimaru froze in place, nails piercing his body. Meijin. Kujibaku. Success. Naruto stated, his eyes having locked with Orochimaru's for a moment. No. Orochimaru screamed. You will not beat me. I will kill you. He tried to move his arm, but found that he couldn't. This isn't like when you ambushed Itachi. My Sharingan is more powerful. You are helpless before my visual prowess. You couldn't defeat Itachi. You can't defeat me. Naruto said simply as his eye began to bleed. Now tremble in terror. Kimfu no Katachi. Suddenly, Orochimaru was trapped in a world of black and red. The only light came from the moon. Naruto's Mangekyou Sharingan hung in the sky. Orochimaru. You tried to kill me. That is unforgivable. Now you will face your greatest fear for the next 72 hours. The scene faded away and Orochimaru was standing above his own grave. No one remembered him. He had died alone, useless, having never mastered every jutsu. The spectral form of the Shinigami stood above him. It pulled out its sword and swung. Orochimaru felt a searing pain envelop his body as he saw his soul being torn away and consumed by the god of death. The Shinigami morphed into Itachi and then Naruto. Before my eyes, your jutsu are meaningless. They said at the same time. Naruto's Mangekyou and Itachi's Mangekyou appeared before him, swirling in tandem as time rewound. Orochimaru fell to the ground, a silent scream marred on his face. 71 hours, 59 minutes, 58 seconds left. Naruto spoke as Orochimaru was forced to gaze upon his grave and the Shinigami again and again. Trapped in a loop that seemed like it would never end. Outside the Jinjutsu, Orochimaru fell to the ground, his eyes having rolled back in his head. Naruto tapped the communicator on his neck 3 times, signaling the white Zetsu hidden in the compound to plant the explosive tags. If Orochimaru woke up, it would be in the ashes of his great village. Getting 3 taps back in response, Naruto walked over to the unconscious form of Rin Uzumaki. He He pulled off her wooden restraints and she almost instantly began to stir. She opened her eyes and saw a boy with white hair and red eyes. Who are you? She asked, instantly on guard. A pretty girl, having been captured by the enemy, was never a good thing. I'll tell you after we are out of here. This place is rigged to blow, come on. He scooped her up in a princess-style carry, causing her to blush a bit. Despite the situation, the man holding her was quite cute. Still holding her, Naruto ran out of the compound, jumping into a large tree some ways away, intent on watching the fireworks. There was a large explosion, the shock waves tearing the trees closest to the compound out of the ground, throwing them some ways away. The heat lit up Naruto's face, causing Rin to blush again. I'm Rin. Rin Uzumaki. Genin of Konoha. Who are you? He looked down at her as his ears stopped fully ringing. My name is Naruto. Naruto, he thought for a moment, Naruto Otsutsuki. No rank. No village. He explained casually. He set her down, much to her disappointment. Here. He hands her a sealing scroll. This will have enough supplies to get you back to Konoha. There is also a map in there. He gave her a brief smile. Next time, I probably won't be around to save you. Be more careful. Naruto gave her one last look before he disappeared into the moonlit night, leaving a very confused Rin Uzumaki. Neither of them noticed a figure slipping away from the rubble, a broken curse mark on her neck. No one would see Anko Mitarashi for quite a long time. She had things to atone for. Making a split-second decision, she decided to head to Kumagakure. Rin left soon after, thinking about the mysterious boy who had saved her and defeated one of the Sannin. She also thought about how worried her mother must be and vowed to get back home as soon as she could. Mountain's graveyard after Naruto's return. We have it solved, Naruto. We know how you can achieve the eternal magicum. Aren't you proud of us? White Zetsu titted in his crazed fashion. There is one issue with the method that we must work out, but we estimate a fairly high chance of success. Black Zetsu added as Naruto sat on his bed, exhausted. Spit it out you two. Naruto said irritably. Seeing Rin had done something to him. He hadn't seen a girl outside of combat in years. He shook his head, trying to clear the strange thoughts. Well? He asked. We will need to find a pair of magicum from Indra's direct line. It just so happens, there is one Uchiha who fits the bill. We just have to find her. She is Itachi's old lover, who was forced to let him go. They disappeared together the night of the massacre, but no one has seen her since. Zetsu explained. Naruto frowned. Even you can't find her? He asked, sensing there was something that Zetsu was not telling him. We found her, but we could not get to her. Something is blocking us. She is constantly on the move. Naori Uchiha is her name. You will have to capture her. We know nothing about her, save for her name and what we could glean from Itachi. You'll be going in blind. Zetsu said. Naruto slammed his fist into the wall of the cave his bed was pressed against. He shot an angry look at Zetsu who melted into the floor, not looking to draw Naruto's ire. Chapter 5 The Hunt. Hanahagakure no Sato after Rin's return. Kushina could not express the joy she felt at seeing her daughter return to her safely. Anbu had been scouring the border for the last 2 days before one of them got a sense of her chakra. There was much love to go around in the Hokage's mansion the night that Rin returned, but many questions were raised. Rin had decided the first thing she wanted to do after letting her mom know she was safe was shower. She wrinkled her nose at the realization she smelled so bad when the cute boy had rescued her. Just as she was beginning to dry off, there was a knock on her bathroom door. Rin, after you've finished up, please come down here. Dansum and I have some questions for you. Rin sighed, knowing this was coming. She vocalized an affirmation to the order and set about drying off. She knew they wanted to know how she escaped. The white-haired boy with the Sharingan eyes had helped her. Naruto Otsutsuki. Just who are you? After a little while drying off and getting dressed in some more comfortable clothes, Rin headed down to where her mother was waiting. I already know what this is about. I may be young, but I'm not stupid. Rin sat down, looking at her mother and Dansum. I didn't take out Orochimaru. In fact, I didn't take out anyone. In the Forest of Death, we were attacked by Orochimaru and a few others. One of them could use Mokuton like the Shodai Hokage. He was well beyond my level. It was like going up against Kakashi-sensei. I got knocked out pretty fast. I only came to after the fight was over. A boy had ripped off the restraints and was looking at me oddly. He had Sharingan. I am assuming naturally because he could deactivate them. He introduced himself as Naruto Otsutsuki. No rank. No village. After that, he took me outside and blew up the compound where I was being held. He gave me supplies, told me which way Konoha was, and then disappeared. Kushina and Dansum looked at each other incredulously. Otsutsuki. I know that name from somewhere. Dansum thought for a minute before his single eye grew a tad bit wider for a moment. Otsutsuki is a name that appears early in the teachings of ninjutsu. Before the establishment of the great shinobi clans, the records of the Rikiden Sennin had him going by a different name. Haguro Motsutsuki. I wonder, he thought for a moment. I will begin sending out spies and searching for him, Rin. If I can find him, you will have done us all a great service. Either by allowing us to recruit a great ally or destroy a great threat to our village. Rin kept her emotions in check but wanted to vomit at the thought of destroying her savior. She looked to her mother and was shocked to see her nodding along with Dansm. For the first time in her life, Rin began to question her life in Konoha and what it meant to be a shinobi. Mountain's graveyard, final day before hunt. She was last reported in Sunagakur, but that was some time ago. I have a spy on the council there. The report came in 3 days ago, but you were still recovering. Your eyes are rapidly degenerating, and I think I know why. I analyzed some of the data from your fight when you first manifested Yomi, and it looks like there is constant strain on your eyes when the technique is active. Your eyes act as a sort of subjugation method for the destructive chakra. The Sharingan is powered by the curse of hatred, and the chakra you manifest is seemingly the antithesis of nature chakra. If the two ever come into contact, the Yomi chakra could grow too powerful for you. Once your eyes become eternal, you will need to train heavily with your eyes to make sure that they are powerful enough to handle the Yomi chakra. Zetsu explained as Naruto watched on with interest. Naruto nodded. His eyes slightly blurry from overuse. It really doesn't take much to mess up these eyes, huh? He asks in an attempt at humor. He knew that without the eyes of Naoya Uchiha, he would go blind. Once I have the eternal Mangekyo, then I will be able to begin the necessary collection of the Bijk. He momentarily thought back to Rin, shaking her face out of his head. I am going to get some sleep. Tomorrow is a big day. I know you can take me as far as Suna, but then the rest is on my own. He took a look around his room for the past years, thinking about how he arrived at 11 and now he had just turned 14. He knew he would be back, but he did not know when. Zetsu nodded as he walked out of the room, allowing Naruto to be alone with his thoughts and to plan the hunt for Naoya Uchiha. Naruto watched him leave, his eyes drifting closed, settling into an uneasy sleep filled with dreams of the porcelain-skinned Rititi saved. Sunagakur the next day. Zetsu had taken Naruto to an old safe house on the outskirts of Suna, giving him a traveling cloak and a hat meant to obscure his appearance. Rumors were flowing around the upper echelons of each village about a mysterious white-haired teen who was capable of taking down Orochimaru. With a frown, Naruto nodded. Maybe I should have let her stay asleep. He thought to himself, knowing that Rin must have told Konoha about him. Bidding a silent farewell to his companion for the last few years, Naruto turned away, red eyes glowing underneath the brim of his hat. He made his way into Sunagakur, dodging large crowds as best he could. He stayed to the back alleys, searching for information. Naruto knew Naori would not be out in the open, so he would have to remain hidden as well. To find a rat, one must become a rat. It also did not help that Naruto only had vague descriptions of what she looked like given to him by Zetsu. He ducked into an alley, intent on finding his first lead. There was a steel door concealed by part of a damaged wall, and Naruto knocked on the exposed part 4 times. The sliding peephole opened as a gruff voice asked password. Naruto looked at him for a moment and decided to play nice. The desert sand swirl in beauty until angered. Naruto recited as the man behind the door nodded. The young teen heard some locks unlatching as he was allowed inside the drunken tanuki. It also happened to be the entrance of the black market hidden within Sunagakur. Inside was a cavernous room, tables lining the walls. Having studied the bingo book extensively, Naruto could recognize many of these names and faces. Ducking his head lower, he made his way over to the bar. I am looking for a girl. He began. Aren't we all, kid? The man smiles, showing off crooked and missing teeth. Gotta give me some more info. Tall. Black hair. Red or black eyes. Name is Naoya Uchiha. Known aliases are Death's Blossom, Sakura Kirigaya, Sayori, or Sadara. Should be around 18 or 19. Naruto spoke, looking at the man with his glowing red Sharingan. She came around here less than a week ago. I need to know where she is going. The bartender looked pensive for a moment. Yeah. I remember her. Hard to get a woman with a body like that out of your head. He chuckled to himself. I know about where she was going, but I don't run a charity here, kid. Naruto nodded, expecting this. He took out a wad of around 1,000 rim. Here. Tell me where. Naruto demanded. She was going to Kumo. Said she had some business to take care of. Crazy bitch if you ask me. Wanted to know about that monster that lives with us. Kazukija's son has the Ichibi locked up in him. Right bastard of a kid. Tries to kill people all the time. Succeeds sometimes too. The barkeep spat as he took up Naruto's money. Seems like she paid him a visit before leaving town. I'd recommend going to see him if you want to know more. Be careful though. Naruto nodded, thanking the man for his time, striding out of the hidden bar, intent on finding the container of the Ichibi. It did not take long, for he found the retarded boy alone on a swing set. The playground was situated in the outskirts of the village, and it was clear that the boy was the only one around for a good way. "You must be the container of the Ichibi. I need some information about a woman who came to see you a few days ago," Naruto said as he approached. He was not looking for trouble, but the words of the bartender stuck with him. "The woman you speak of made the Ichibi sleep. He has not yelled at me since she came to see me." The boy pointed to his seal. "I can almost feel as if the chakra is draining away." Naruto's eyes shifted into the Sharingan, and what he saw made his heart sink. The Ichibi had been killed within the seal, and it was now having to reform outside of it. "Fuck." Naruto spoke before jumping away, intent on bringing this emergency up with Zetsu. Gaara watched the strange boy jump away, his eyes drooping closed, intent to fall asleep once again without any interference from the Ichibi. On Hagakure 2 weeks after return. Rin Uzumaki walked into the old Uchiha clan, intent on asking Sasuke something. She knocked on the door of the only house that looked lived in. A shout of 1 second. From the other side of the door assured her that this was the right place. Sasuke opened the door, a look of surprise on his face as he came face to face with Rin Uzumaki, his teammate and friend. "Surprised to see you here. Figured your mom would keep you under lock and key since you got kidnapped." He shot her a smile and beckoned her inside. "I snuck out. I need answers and you are the only person who can give them to me," Rin said in a grave tone. Her eyes showed signs of bags. "I need to know about the Sharingan." Sasuke looked at her as if she had gone crazy. "Why? What reason could you possibly have of wanting to know about the Sharingan?" he asked incredulously, looking around as if to see if someone was forcing her to do this. She sighed and launched into the story of the boy their age who went toe-to-toe with a Sannin and won. How the boy had strange red eyes. The red eyes of a Sharingan. Sasuke listened, and by the end of it, there was something akin to awe in his eyes. "He has the Mangekyou. It is an evolved form of the Sharingan. Only the most powerful Uchiha can unlock it. From your description, he does not sound like an Uchiha." Sasuke thought for a moment. "If you ever have the chance to find him again, take me with you. I need to ask him some questions." Rin nodded, unsure of what Sasuke wanted to ask. "If he is hostile, you will need training on how to combat the Sharingan. We can train here. No more missions until we find a replacement for Sakura too. I don't know if you heard, but she retired from duty," Sasuke told her. Rin shook her head, a little disgusted at her former teammate. One defeat and she gives up. Pathetic. Deciding not to voice her opinions, she stood up. "Thanks for the help. You can tell me more about the Sharingan then next time I'm over. Why don't we grab a bite to eat beforehand?" Sasuke looked a bit surprised at the offer, but smiled all the same. "I'd like that. See you next time." Rin let herself out of the house, doing everything she could to push the face of the handsome possibly hostile shinobi from her head. Hai no Kuni same time. Naruto hid from another roving band of Anbu doing their border patrols. He had a long way to go before he was even close to Kumo, and Naori had a head start. He did have one advantage, however. For obvious reasons, Naori could not enter Konoha, but Naruto could. All he had to do was enter under a powerful henge and pass through. Naori had to take the long way around. He could pick up an extra 1 or 2 days on her. The thought was too good to pass up. Until then, Naruto was forced to hide from Anbu. His presence getting out would be unfortunate at best and downright disastrous at worst. When he had told Zetsu about the Ichibi, the man, who was completely black, paled considerably. Naruto had gotten a message from him 2 days ago that said the team of Akatsuki near Kumo would attempt to head her off. Itachi was currently being grilled for information about his old girlfriend. Naruto tended his senses and could feel no one nearby, so he exited his hiding place. Left behind on one of the roots was his handprint. "Fuck." He cursed internally. Ever since he had used it the first time, Naruto had not attempted Yomi, and the results were unfortunate. If he ever stayed around any sort of plant life for too long, it would begin to wither and die. He needed his new eyes faster. The withering and dying was unfortunate, but he could feel some of the dark chakra leaking into his system, causing him intense pain. Cursing once again, he jumped quickly towards Konoha, applying the henge no jutsu to himself, forcing as much chakra as he could into it. Only a Haikyuu could see the difference. Naruto was praying to whatever god would listen that he didn't meet any of Hamura's descendants during his short stay in Konoha. Tsuchi no Kuni Akatsuki Laboratory 007. Obito and Tsunade stood in front of the open capsule, a naked woman panting and heaving on the ground in front of them. She looks up at both of them, no recognition in her eyes. "Who are you? Where am I?" Obito choked out a noise that was akin to an old man's final breath. "Your name is Manaka Senju," he said, seemingly distraught for some reason. "Your name is Manaka Senju, and you will be amazing." She rolled the name over her lips for a few moments and smiled brightly. "I like it." Her voice was cheery and happy. Obito looked over at Tsunade, who was engrossed in some medical files about the newly dubbed Monaka. He looked at the girl one last time and disappeared into thin air. He collapsed in his own dimension, tears welling in his eyes for the first time in decades. He knew Monaka's face. It was the face of someone who had kept him up night after night for years. The woman on the ground had the face of Rin Nahara. All he could do was weep. What if Naruto has a kekkei mora? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.